Oh shit, yeah, I forgot about that. Saturday. Doesn't it feel like it's Tuesday or something?
I'm just so fucking lost. I was just in Vegas for like last weekend for 5 days, way too fucking long for a bachelor party with a bunch of like.
Oh yeah, how was that? You had sent me that email. You were like,
oh yeah, dude, I was fucked up when I wrote you.
No, it was, dude. Well, you had better punctuation than those sober people that send the shit. So,
congratulations. I got busted for doing coke in a bathroom at a strip club that night.
What?
Yeah.
That's an oxymoron.
It was funny. Yeah, like. I walked.
The guy who busted you probably had like fucking 10 G's or bullets and he's giving the stickers.
The guy didn't do anything. He just like made me toss it out and that was it. And he was like, "You can go join your friends." And I was like, "Yeah, cool, thanks, man." It was weird. And then I fell asleep at the strip club.
Cocaine runs strip bars.
Yeah.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I've decided to sleep with other women. Didn't mean it to come to this, but this is my only choice. Things ain't working out the way we talked about. Not gonna sit here at night and hold my dick. Gonna hit the town, drink that Kentucky Brown, and fuck another chick. It's not that I'm not into you no more. It's just the way things are now. I think that I should go with another girl. Think that I've given this a pretty good twirl. Well, I've decided to sleep with other women. Remember those good old days when we would get fucked up and we would party tough and we would say how we wanted each other for days. Remember those golden moments when we would lay in bed. Never enough can be said how we mistaked the booze for romance. I know this ain't what you wanted to hear, but these are the breaks in life, my dear. When you fuck around, then came back to town. This is my way of letting you know that the end is near. The end is near. Well, I've decided to sleep with other women. The situation is beyond repair, and there ain't no going back. The memories fade to black. Just wanna hit the sack and go wanna fucking tear. Your excuses quit working a long time ago. Never been one to look back and say I told you so. Just looking ahead to the nights of different treatment, where the other girls lurk. This is my song of endearment. Well, I've decided to sleep with other women. Wipe those tears. Have a few beers. Confront your fears about being alone. And don't come knocking, 'cause I'm not at home. I'm out sleeping with women other than you. Welcome everyone to the second episode, the second interview of Exit Here Media's CurseRap project. In a few minutes, we'll be playing the incredibly insightful and just awesome fucking interview and conversation I had with Michael Goldman, whose lovely debut EP, Other Ways, as Nona the band, was just released last week. And the song you just heard was Sleeping with Other Women by the late 2000 San Francisco band Pie Grinder, a couple turd burglars who ended up giving birth to CurseRap, which is now the name of this new EHM production. And before you heard the Pie Grinder song, you got that wonderful short clip regarding Vegas and strip clubs and cocaine, which I pulled from the end of the interview that you're about to listen to because it was just too fucking genuine and hilarious not to use, but didn't fit with how the interview concluded. Like I always do, I let the tape run after the interview was over because there's always a fucking gem that gets dropped right when the guard drops, and this was another example of that. So I thought it would be the perfect clip to get episode 2 out of the blocks. Real quick, just want to update everyone on the Skullbird 77 situation, my new novella. So the 2000 print run that my distributor handled sold out. And sort of the 250 copies of the 250 copies they gave me that I signed and were on sale at Executor Media as limited edition copies, those are gone too. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for that to all of my fans out there. I mean, or people just, even if you didn't buy the book, you told someone. It's really fucking cool to have this, to be really starting this, new phase of my writing journey, and to know that I can get that kind of support, just independent of everything else. It means a lot, and I appreciate all of that, and thank you. That said, for all of you who were kicking fucking rocks last week and not jumping on this, they're going to do another 1,000 copy run, and they're sending me another 100 copies. Those copies will come in now, I think on November 4th. Between November 4th and 7th, I'll have them. I'm signing the 100 copies, and you can order them right now through the site. I didn't take anything down, so you can still order it. It looks like, and you'll just have to wait for the copies to get here and then ship. So yeah. Go to executormediasf.com if you really have your heart set on getting one of those signed limited edition copies. And, yeah. Anyway, on to the interview real quick. I just want to say that this interview, in a lot of ways, is just worth the time. I mean, I'm not, this was the second one I'd ever really done, and I didn't really know if this was going to be released again, like with Joe Medina, as an audio version. So I don't know. I'm just kind of along for the ride on this one. But the insight that Michael provides about the music industry was incredibly refreshing, honest, and so insightful. I thought I knew some stuff, and apparently I have some weird late 90s model going on with the industry still, because I had no idea what I was really talking about once he started explaining things to me, and it's just really good. And there's people that you just want to see do good, and Michael's one of them. I don't know, his personality and the way he answers questions, just how authentic and genuine he is. It's just fucking rad to see that, especially somebody who's spent so much time, in the swamps, of LA and being in that scene and having that life, and he's just a good fucking dude who's got a vision, and that's not the music I would naturally gravitate towards, but as a real artist does, he made me like something that I don't think I normally fucking like. I enjoyed that EP, and that's what you do as an artist. That's one of the main things. It is not your art. The way I've started to view art, well, for a while now, where it's not good art. Great art is not this this massive explosion and something new or something happens all of a sudden. Being a good art is being authentic to yourself as an artist and being and staying true to that with that vision, and that's what he does, and it's good. And the interview was really good and insightful, and again, I think anyone who is involved in any artistic, scene within any medium, but especially people who are in the music industry, should take the time and listen to this, because we go pretty deep into how everything just kind of works, and he gives some great anecdotes in there, some great stories. Again, his answers are just so purely genuine and honest. I don't know. It was cool to do this, and I'm glad that everything worked the way it did, and that's how we met down in LA, just chaos and shit, and you'll hear a little bit about that in the interview. And I'm glad to call him a acquaintance, and hopefully I get to see him a few more times, and we can start calling each other like solid friends or good friends. But he's a good fucking dude. None of the band is what his project is under, and Other Ways is the name of the EP. So without further ado, here's my interview with Michael Goldman. He also plays in Goldroom as well.
Right?
Yep.
Got it. Nona.
Is
it a weird beginning?
No, but there's a band called Mona.
Okay.
And they have Mona the band, and I'm Nona the band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nona the band. Let's see. Well, I just kind of want to start to just tell us like a little bit about I guess your journey. I guess we should do some backstory here. So, I was having the worst day of my life in LA, and
yeah.
I popped into a bar and met this fine young musician, and we talked for a while, and
that was good for me. It was a fucking slow day. I get so bored at the bar.
Are they like? They would always come up to you and like whisper.
Oh, the type.
They don't speak very well.
They don't speak English very well. Oh, and there was that chick, I think Patty was working. She hardly speaks English.
Okay.
So she's just trying to like.
I thought you were in trouble.
Oh no. I was running the place that day.
Okay, cool. So we got to talking, and he told me that he was going to be up in San Francisco doing Outside Lands, and with
Goldroom,
yeah. And had. We actually started talking about life of musicians.
Yeah. Yeah, we got into fucking like theory of like playlists and shit like that.
Yeah, theory playlists, and
Taste
you wanted to do a
makers.
podcast about Hired Guns.
I forgot we talked about that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Just
I broke the secret.
No.
Maybe we'll edit that part.
No, it's no secret. Yeah, just interviewing other people that do what I do.
You told people that I cook for.
Yeah.
I got this great idea, man.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, all the Hired Guns around.
Yeah.
And then you had your own project that you were telling me about.
Yeah.
So let's kind of talk about that. So I listened to it, and it was, I didn't expect it. That's what it was going to be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on in it.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, I'm not a big comparison fan, but when I hear something the first time, obviously your mind sort of jumps to that.
You go there no matter what.
Right, exactly. But I thought that there was like, it was an interesting mix of what I was kind of coming up with. I mean, Oasis popped into my head.
Okay.
Lumineers a little bit, I don't like that, but like, there's like, there's this element.
Those are two bands I never got into.
Right. Right. Totally. I mean, we're all like a sort of product of our own experiences and how we hear things and listen to things. And I mean, Girls, that song, I think it's the last song, right?
Yeah, last song.
Kind of had I don't know, made me feel a little bit like, wow, I think it's just a mood.
Yeah.
So can I talk about, like, is this your first one?
The first EP?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the first legitimate project of as Nona, like doing real recordings. So like I did a couple singles that I recorded in my bedroom like a year ago that I put out. And then just kind of like randomly got signed to this small indie label in LA called Wax and recorded this whole EP there.
Okay.
And then the first single came out yesterday.
Father's Day.
Yeah, Father's Day. And the EP will come out like late September or something like that.
how long? I mean, what was the process like? I mean, did you have like 8 or 9 songs that you boiled down? Or
Yeah.
did you go in there with like 4 that you knew?
Well, I do so much recording in my room, so like all the songs on the EP were pretty much finished in my room. Okay. And then I sent them like a bunch of songs, and those were the 5 that they were really into.
Did they track anything in the studio?
No, we redid everything.
Okay, cool.
So,
nice. So you kind of deconstructed it and then...
Yeah, so we used my recordings as demos. And
Right.
There's a couple things we held on to, like a drum sample here that like the producer...
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought you basically had everything put together.
Oh, yeah. We just went in
demos,
and redid everything.
Cool.
Yeah. I was planning on putting it out that way, just independently, and then it was like, well, you can do it in an amazing studio. So
yeah, you can get some people to mix it in good. And,
yeah.
Did anyone else play on it, or was that you?
It's only me and then my friend Sam Gallagher who plays drums on all the tracks.
So with Wax, are they distribution or PR?
They're an interesting label because they were a production company, so they only produced bands and like tried to get them signed based off of like producing songs and bands they believed in.
And then like take a cut?
Yeah, essentially like get paid when the band gets signed.
Right.
But they so they got like really tired. Yeah, they do like a production deal. They got really sick and tired of like getting bands signed to major labels just for the bands to get dropped after like a year because
or the major labels trying to like sometimes not pay them.
I don't even know if that's the thing. It's just like if they make money off of their artists doing well. And on a major label system, like if there's no artist development, it's just you throw the shit into the fire, and like if it works on the radio, it works, and if it doesn't, the band's dropped.
So what are your thoughts on? So I was talking about this yesterday at the festival, where I'm like, major labels will always work for some people.
Yeah,
for some people, but like
there are bands where it's like it works out and they do well, but it's very specific.
Right. I mean, it always worked for Jay-Z. It always worked for Taylor Swift.
For pop acts, yeah.
Right.
Well, but then once you get to that level, you don't even need a label. I mean,
right. But it's funny because they do a lot of those. You know, like when someone goes off and says, like Janet Jackson, I'm starting a label. Well, no, you're a subsidiary of this.
Yeah, it's
you didn't start your own thing
because you're not going to make your own distribution, and you're not going to make your own fucking.
You could, but she's not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. But like it's. I guess what I'm saying, like it's really risky. I think. I mean, from my understanding, where it's like anyone who wants to just give you $50,000, I'd be very wary of that, especially in the music industry. You know, like because you speak to more of this better than I can. Yeah.
It's I've played in a few bands that have been signed to major labels, and Goldroom's now on Interscope. And it's a very different situation.
What is that like then? What's the setup there?
That's more unique than other ones, just because he was independent for so long and established himself. Like,
did they sign him or did they sign?
They signed him for an album, a couple options or something. But
did he need that? Because I feel like
no,
he's the payday in the shows, right?
But he wanted to go bigger with the album. It was the first like full length. He's done a lot of EPs. He's done a lot of singles, but he was like, why don't we fucking try this big picture thing and see how it works? Which I think is just like at the end of the day, no matter what, it's really easy to say fuck major labels when they're not offering you a ton of money in a deal.
Right.
But when they come at you and they're like, we love this, we want to do this for you, we want to give you this much money, and if it works out, we're both rich, and you're kind of like, well, fuck, I mean, I only live once, maybe this is my shot. I think that's where a lot of people get trapped in that.
But, right, I mean, I think it's more like, I mean, I guess when I say that, like, it's sort of the obscene things, or, I mean, if someone's going to invest, I guess, $50,000 in a band, like, when people sign stuff and then, you know, they don't have no, like, you'll sign to a contract and there's no one there helping you. It's $50,000 to major label is nothing.
It's not that much. It's not much money for a band to even get much shit done.
Right. I mean, it is like nicer studio and whatnot, and
but even that, I mean, shit's so expensive. That's like, I mean, you could do a great independent run for $50,000, but anything mainstream is going to cost so much money. If you want to do radio, it's going to be thousands of dollars a month.
What's the difference? Because, like, I mean, I mean, I know what the difference is, but like I hear Beach House on the radio and it sounds fucking better than Taylor Swift.
Yeah, well,
so like Beach House,
where do you hear it on the radio? Like,
what's that?
What depends on the station because like
I mean,
they're never going to be on the same station.
Right? Okay, yeah. I mean, Live 105.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor Swift's been on Live 105. I guarantee Aaron Alexis has played her.
Okay.
You know who Aaron is, right?
Yeah.
And Beach House has been on. I don't know if I'm sure that they played Beach House songs. They played my friend's songs.
Yeah.
But like, and so and I get the appeal. I don't think Beach House is a radio band. I don't think that they're gonna have like these radio hits. I've heard them. So what would be the difference in that like sort of makeup of why would that be more? Because you're trying to push 6 songs on the radio.
Oh, in terms of like for a radio push. Well, here's the thing. It really depends on how you go about it. On a major label, they're going to usually have their own radio team. They're not going to hire out an independent radio team. If you're doing shit on your own, like me, if I want to do a radio push for my single, I have to then pay a team to work it.
Right.
And that shit costs a lot of money.
Right.
But
you're getting at my point.
Yeah, but the major labels have their own in-house team. So like Atlantic has their own team.
Too.
But they get paid on salary, so they don't get paid extra, and it's not coming out of your payday. The major labels want to keep everything in-house because they don't want to spend extra money on it.
Right, but I'm under the impression that those people all get really big bonuses if those things get hits.
I mean,
so I'm not feeling that into that. So
the money isn't in major labels really that much anymore. Honestly, the people who work at major labels, and sorry if you're listening to this and you work for a major label, but the type of people that work on major labels are people who aren't good enough at their job to work independently and make more money.
Right.
Like, so if you're doing PR at a major label, it's because you're not making that much fucking money. You can make way more money as an independent good PR person.
Your dad, someone's best friend. I've always thought that with publicists in the music industry, man. Like, it's like, who gave you this job? Like, there's some good ones.
Yeah.
But I very rarely, and then, they're usually like, either have their own firm or whatever, but yeah, going out of pocket to fucking pay for your own marketing or whatever, it's expensive for sure.
Yeah.
But there's also people too that like, who believe in this shit.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, cool. Like, I don't like. I'm going to give you $500 down, and if we get this, we'll figure out the other $1,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because there's some young, hungry fucking kids who are starting to like. I know like 23-year-old managers now who are like just like rosters of 5-6 people, and are like, I see them at like FYF in the fucking artist area, and I'm like, I mean, those dudes fucking, I know those guys, man, they're fucking living in a fucking shitty apartment on top of each other, but they're pushing their fucking artists and they're playing FYF.
Yeah. Well, my friend just paid $200 to this dude to do press for a single, which is insane.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, it was on like Stereo Gum, which is just like a funny thing. Like,
is it insane to pay $200 for?
That's so cheap.
Cheap, yeah.
No, it's like nothing.
Yeah,
like the cheapest I ever paid.
Well, he might have a friend too, though.
Yeah, but this guy was just cheap, man. I mean, the cheapest I ever paid was $400, and the guy did a great job. But it was like, and that's the big thing too. It's more important that someone's into it. If someone's trying to sell your music, you better hope they like your music.
Well, yeah, I mean that's why. It's the thing, in my line of business with writing, my agent doesn't make any money until I make money.
Yeah.
It takes 15% of that check.
Yeah.
And the publishing houses have their own PR.
Yeah.
Now, I've gone and been like, your PR fucking people suck.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. But I got somebody that I think I'm going to go into this market, and they've been okay.
Going back to the money thing, like in The Moth and the Flame, when we were on Elektra, everyone...
Give some background to Moth and Flame.
Moth and Flame. It's it's a band I played in. I loved playing with those guys. I quit last year just to start working on Nona. But they're this awesome band out of Utah that moved to LA, and I was a huge fan, and I knew the drummer because he was the drummer. He started Imagine Dragons back with Dan Reynolds back in the day, and then quit and joined up with the Moth and Flame. Yeah, and I joined up with those guys, and then we got signed to Elektra. And
what was that like a development deal?
No, it was like it was like a one album, like 3 option deal kind of thing.
Okay.
Or maybe 2 option deal.
Not like a lot of money.
Not huge advance, but like we tried to milk the label as much as we could. Everybody I know that's been on major labels has been like, get money as soon as you can, as much as you can, because like, yeah, you owe them, but if you don't make it, you don't have to pay them back.
Right.
And if you make it, then like you still needed that money, and so we just fucking inflated everything.
Then what do you owe?
Well, we got dropped after the album,
and then you had to.
And then we didn't have to pay them back.
Yeah, right.
We got everything.
That's a myth, right? Well, it's not a myth, but things have changed.
Things have definitely changed
in
deals, yeah.
Right. Someone gives you $1 million.
But they do like a 360 deal where like we take a piece of touring, we take a piece of merch. And so what we did is we just never reported any merch sales. We just played dumb. We're like, oh yeah.
We made extra merch actually.
we don't have a tour manager. No one's keeping track of the numbers. When really our buddy was out helping us.
It's not even worth their own hassle.
Yeah, it's not enough money for them.
Right.
I mean, there was something cut into the deal too, where like we keep the first like certain amount of money that is made before we start paying them back. But we would just lie and be like, we need tour supports and we need hotels and we need all of this stuff, and we'd never get hotels and we'd never get any of that other shit, and we just pocket that money.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we just wouldn't be able to.
I mean, that's good.
That's literally what we had to live off of.
That's the. Here's, you don't know anyone in fucking Utah, but like, tour manager comes out and gives you meal money or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you have friends in the city.
Yeah.
You know,
we had this, we fucking customized a shuttle bus from Enterprise, so we had bunks in it, and we slept in that every single night. We had a TV set up in there, PlayStation in there.
I mean, yeah.
That was like, I joined when I was like 23.
Yeah, you need a fucking hotel 23, I'm sure you're doing it wrong.
Well, the first tour I ever did where I was getting hotels, I was playing guitar with that girl Meg Myers, and the very first tour, it was the first time playing with an artist on a major label.
Yeah.
And I emailed her manager. It was right after I quit my very first band, and I emailed her manager out of the blue, saying like, hey, if you guys need a guitar player or bass player, like, I like what you guys are doing. And he calls me the next day and is like, I literally just sat down at my desk thinking I need to get a new guitar player for Meg, because he was the one playing guitar.
Cool.
He's like, can you come in next week to audition? I auditioned and I got the gig.
Cool.
It was just like so easy.
Yeah,
I emailed at the right time. But so we're on tour and it's just like, we're getting hotels and I'm losing my mind. Like, I get my own bed every night. Are you fucking kidding me? I've only ever slept in a van.
So on a tour like that, is there a do they structure a daily fee that they pay you up front, or at the end of the tour they actually per diem and deposit?
Yeah, they did direct deposit like every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So like you get paid for your salary, and I wasn't getting paid very much, but like for me I joined.
What's the scale on that? Because for people who don't know, and
it's a really interesting scale that still surprises me. Like, so I was making like $500 a week on tour with her, which to me as a 21-year-old, I think when I joined her band, good. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm making money.
Because your friends are fucking making $550 at Pac Sun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, and I'm not paying rent right now. I'm just fucking, I'm on the road, and I'm just having a great time.
Seeing the fucking country the best way to ever see a country.
Yeah.
You know?
And it was the most comfy tour I've ever had. And then there's per diems, and then the shows were good too. And
then the beers at the shows.
Yeah, so like most things are taken care of anyway. I did a lot of driving on those tours though, just because like.
Okay, so Meg Myers was, I know the name.
Yeah, she's on Atlantic. Her second record's going to come out sometime.
Okay, soon. Yeah, she's like a couple years ago was like a big. Or a name that was kind of catching fire.
Yeah, she had a few singles that did good on alternative radio, and like the song Desire, the song Sorry, another one that did pretty good, and now her second album just finished. I worked on some of that with her, and I toured with her for like 2 years or something.
Cool.
And it was a fucking blast. And her drummer now is the drummer in my band, and he lives right down the street. His son is the kid in the Father's Day video.
Okay.
Like that's how I met all of them. Yeah, exactly. But it was just that was a different thing. It was the first time like being like a hired gun in a band. Like just kind of like, this is what I do. I just show up, and like coming from like a band where it was like 4 dudes where it was our whole life. Right. So you're stressed out about everything. Like,
Equal
do you have
parts,
the merch?
right.
Do you have this? Like, the songwriting. To just, like, I get a paycheck now, and I just show up and play guitar. Like, that was a new experience.
Kids starting bands when you're in high school or college. Word to the fucking wise. Go on Craigslist, eBay, buy a fucking cheap-ass screen printer, learn how to fucking do it, save yourselves a lot of fucking money. Yeah. By the way.
We made so much, like, DIY merch.
Right. I mean, most people do, but then they, it's that stupid fucking run. They're like, what am I going to do that? And I'm like, dude, somebody take the class over the summer, man.
Yeah. Well, I just my first run of Nona shirts, and so I just went, what did I do? Online, I was able to find, I love pocket tees, so I found, like, a bunch of pocket tees like this. Okay. And then I bought a bunch of stencils. Okay. And I bought the shirts for like $3 a piece or $2.50 a piece in bulk. And then I just bought this spray paint. I just stenciled Nona on the pocket and then on the back, and they look fucking cool.
That was your first hired gun gig.
Yeah.
At the time, like, what do you think? You're like, this is a one-off. I'm going to go and. Or what's the aspiration? I mean, aspiration has it changed a little bit here, man? Like, this is steady paycheck.
To be honest, I think, like, I started writing songs when I was 12. So my dad was a songwriter, and he passed away when I was 11. And it was just kind of like, I had all of his guitars.
Is he in the industry at all?
He never did anything. Like, he never put out a song officially. Like,
I like that.
He just, like, wrote at home and shit, and he made a whole album that he was probably going to put out. Then he got diagnosed with cancer and got really sick. Yeah. And then he beat the cancer. Was in remission, deleted the whole album, and he was like, I'm going to do it better, I'm going to redo the whole album now that I'm, like, alive. And then, like, right as he started, he got really sick again, and he, like, barely scrapped together, like, pieces of that record, which is kind of a bummer that he got rid of the first one.
Is he still...
I have some recordings, but yeah, so he
still alive?
No, he passed away when I was 11.
Damn, man. Jesus.
And I got... So I had his guitars and everything, and it was kind of like...
He taught you to play? Yeah.
I was playing cello and shit, and then I started playing, like, bass in the high school band, but guitar and songwriting was always something I just kind of did on my own without talking to people about.
Right.
Just kind of, like, trying to do, I guess, what he did, and then, like, just kind of propelled me into music. And from then on, it was just kind of like, well, this is what I want to do, is write songs and do that as a thing. And everything else is kind of been a means to getting to that point. And like feeling comfortable enough. Yeah, exactly. So, like, literally, like, putting out this music is, like, what I've been trying to do since I was 12.
Right.
In a way that I feel, like, good about.
Right.
So, that's always been the end goal.
Was there a part, like, a hesitation, I guess? Like,
oh yeah, just a shitload of fear.
Right.
Just like a year and a half ago.
Because there's got to be a weird sort of perverse kind of sort of a security blanket if you bad experience the sort of hired gun thing where it's like, well, ultimately that's somebody else's. So you don't like it.
Even with the band, when you're a member of the band, you're still hiding behind the band.
Right.
But when it's you, it's your thing, and you're asking people to play with you, and you're asking people to come out and see you, it's like, fucking, there's nothing to hide behind.
As they're like, so, I think a lot of people in their heads, because they don't think things through, or they don't like to think, it'll be too hard on them. Or they're just, like, not curious enough, or they just don't care. So, that they think, oh, well, you're a hired gun with a successful musician, so why don't you just hand her off this, that person, why don't you just give them this tape, and then, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
it's like...
I mean,
can you clip that in the butt? Like, that's not how it works.
No.
Like, nobody who works on my shit is gonna fucking give me a book. Or if they do, like, what am I gonna do with this?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not putting it out on my own.
I'll share it, but it's like, one, it's like in bad taste to like, I don't know what I would even do. Like, hey, we show this to, like...
Well, no, but it would be more like, okay, yeah, like, I mean, I guess generally thinking maybe I'm giving...
I share the music with friends.
Well, generally thinking maybe, like, maybe like, okay, well, if you're on the road for 30 days, I have to fucking ask you. Do you have your own thing?
Yeah, I mean,
I think that. Maybe I'm just a person. I think if I was spending like 30 days on a row with someone who were all musicians,
yeah,
even if it was somebody else's project, I'd ask if like, hey, what do you got? What kind of songs you got?
yeah. I mean, that definitely happens. Like, I've been really fortunate in all the hired gun gigs I've done with, like, playing with people that I genuinely really like. Like, I've very seldom, like, I've only maybe one time even toured with a band where, like, I didn't get along with them. And we got kicked off of that tour, actually. But that was with the Moth and the Flame and In the Valley Below. We got kicked off that tour. I honestly don't really know why. They were kind of, I'm not going to talk shit. But
said I don't know what.
Yeah,
that's the least talking shit.
Yeah,
I got kicked off. I have no idea what.
That was like 5 days in, and all of a sudden I get a text. We get an email.
So
like,
you guys are opening?
Yeah, we're opening for them
for Valley
in the Valley Below. Yeah, and I think the big issue is we were outselling them in merch, and we were bringing more people to shows. And they were having a problem with that, and then
the sound guys were just as loud.
Well, and the sound guy we were sharing, but then like they stopped like letting us get sound checks, and then they wouldn't move the stage around for us at all, and we kind of were like, hey, like we're trying to make this work, but can you accommodate us a little bit? Because like we're fucking selling at least half the tickets. And they didn't want to make it work, and then I guess we were a pain in the ass, and we get an email like, yeah, last night in Austin was your last show of the tour.
And you guys
were like,
spotted when we're insecure.
Well, we were just like, what? Well, the next day they got dropped from their label, so it was like, well, okay.
Well, I mean, sort of, the labels always obviously got to know that they're kicked you guys off.
Yeah, I think
the numbers, I'm sure.
I would imagine that that's just an indication of them being hard to work with.
Right.
That's just like one way of that showing.
What kind of music?
Like, kind of like, if she and him wanted to sound more like the Lumineers.
Dude, it's not a person. It's just like a caricature.
Yeah.
Zoe. Sorry, Zoe. I mean, like, you're talented in your own right, and like a lot of.
Who is she?
Well,
as a person,
she's just a weird Zoe Deschanel.
No, I know who she is, but like as a person, though, like
I think she's probably. I don't know. I mean, I feel like she's played the same fucking character, or at least with the sort of mannerisms, and the speaking pattern. I've never seen her. She's only really good in Almost Famous. And you got like 3 scenes in it. She's William's older sister. She's a flight attendant.
Oh yeah.
Like that's, and she was okay in All the Real Girls in the beginning. Like she wasn't carrying anything, but she definitely fucking like really got a lot of square girls to think that they were indie girls. So. Maybe that's the trick.
Trick squares into thinking they weren't.
Yeah, the Lumineers. I'm like, dude, okay, like, I get it. Like, the appeal is all that. With like, in my opinion, like, and I'm not brass really reading my books, man. I talk shit on all the bands. I mean, I basically like, remember Buddyhead?
Buddyhead?
I never knew Buddyhead.
No.
Oh, dude. History lesson again. So, Buddyhead was this fucking site in LA. I think they kind of started around like 99. They really prominent around 99, 2006. And they were a label, so they put out like Iker Slang, they put out Death From Above, that first EP, not Death From 1979, that Thrasher fucking punk EP. Yeah. They put out a lot of good singles. One of the guys actually is in Nine Inch Nails now. Anyway, they had a column page.
A column page?
Or a gossip page.
Oh.
And I was 20 and I was in film school and I was wanting to be a fiction writer, and they talked the best shit, and it was fucking rad, and it was fucking, I thought it was, that's my opinion aligned a lot with theirs.
Yeah.
And at one point, I'm not sure if they were making a whole lot of money, but they were ranked like by Spin as like the ninth most powerful voice because they had really so they were the anti-Pitchfork, you know.
Yeah.
So they were like, all right, we're shit talkers, but we're also honest.
Yeah. Did they ever praise anything on that shit talking gossip thing? Or?
What's that? Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's some of the best shit I've ever heard. Fucking.
So it wasn't just pure shit talk.
No, not
but
at all.
They were not afraid to tear into things.
Right. We're not afraid to call fucking bullshit. Like, and if you don't think that's bullshit, that's fine. But like, you know, I generally lined up a lot with their musical taste. I had a lot of similar taste. You know, like, you know, those are the guys. You know, wrote like, yeah, man, we're gonna fucking do a bunch of coke with some fucking hot ass girls, and we're gonna be in our fucking underwear, drinking champagne, and fucking debating fucking, you know, the merits of GNR's Lies and the Chuck Mosley Faith No More Days. You know, I think it was a direct fucking reaction to the grunge to new metal thing, because the shit was a fucking joke, and it was like, you know, I still like, it's even, you know, it's hard for me. You had to be, to me, it's like, man, if you were 15, maybe your friends were 18, Family Values tour. But if you were 18, you want someone biscuit, fuck you. I don't care. You can change, but like, sorry. I just like, I don't think I'm a fucking snot-nosed Pierce. I'm like, Fred Durst had no business ever making $1 million.
I mean, I've never listened to Biscuit.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But like, I feel like it was, you know, and then, but like, you know, he's on MTV also, you know, and it's just like having a show, you know, and Snoop Dogg or fuck, dude, we used to listen to Method Man to this day because he did that fucking song with him. I love Wu-Tang, dude. I fucking love Wu-Tang, but I will not listen to Method Man because he did that. And like, so I feel it was definitely like a reaction to that. But anyway, how do we get onto what he did?
I don't know.
Oh, shit talking. Alright, so how many years were you working on those songs?
The ones that are on the EP, like, I started writing those maybe a year and a half ago, like the first one. Like, they're not that old. One of them is maybe 2 years old. There's so much new music that I'm really excited to record, and a lot of them, like, I recorded them and then re-recorded them. Right. And it's that constant thing of, like, by the time you get it finished, and you get to this process, you're like, I have a fucking 2 more albums worth of material that I really want to work on.
Oh, dude, people ask me that all the time. Like, it's like by the time I fucking like
your book comes out,
I'm like already fucking first draft to go to the second. I'm not even thinking of that. You know, I'm like, what happened to that?
Well, and you get detached. So that song "Girls."
But also too, it's like the more you're playing and writing songs, the better you're getting, and the more anxious you are to get the best.
Yeah, and you're like
you're getting it. You always have a sentimental heart, like that's the first EP, so there's a sentimentality, but you know that
you're like,
third one's
this is better. This is better. Yeah. Hopefully, you're growing. If you're not growing, and you're not writing songs. If you're not continuing to write better material or like evolving, then that's a really bad sign.
Yeah.
Like you probably it's healthy to be in that place,
right?
But it was interesting because that song "Girls," it's on the EP. Like I'm happy with it, but the demo that I did of it, like I was. Like all the music comes from feeling really heavy stuff, and it doesn't come across. I think a song.
No, because because you do a juxtaposition, which is what I love. I do love straightforward shit, but I also love something that it's like when I interviewed the band Nervous Lovers, and I'm like. I am dancing my ass off, and you guys are singing about trauma and heartbreak. It's like the Smiths. It's like these lyrics are devastating, but I'm fucking at a club dancing, you know. And I think that's just funny. It's very layers. Right.
Well, it's fun. Like I always thought that was funny. Like girls, girls, girls.
Well, right,
but it's like kind of a heartbreak song.
Yeah.
But like the first one I did of it, I was fucking really upset and feeling it. And I can't fake that emotion in a studio.
No.
I'm not that good of an actor to just pretend like I'm upset. I'm just trying to get a good take. That like the music on that EP is the most like these sound like they are a group, but I write stuff kind of all over the place a lot of the time too.
Cool.
People like things for different reasons. Like songs that I'll probably never put out. Like it's like it might be like my roommate's favorite song I've ever done, and it's like you love it. I don't know why, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just weird.
Cool harmony in it, like
why you like the things you like.
I feel like we're like in this weird like neo harmony stage. or maybe we're just kind of coming out of it. Just very much like if you start a song, with 8 fucking people doing it, like it's somehow that's gonna fucking resonate. It's gonna be like
vocal hooks, just yeah.
Right, it's half the song.
Yeah.
And then the other lyrics are boring.
Yeah.
And I still don't know why there's 10 of you. I know it fucking makes no sense.
It's funny that there's one song on the EP, on my EP, that I hate.
Do you got time? Do you got like another hour and stuff?
I got a little bit of time. Yeah, what?
Oh, cause I want to go into some other shit.
Oh yeah, sure. There's a song Princess on the EP that starts out with just like the
yeah,
and like I almost wish it was just like 2 voices just like that rather than us building up this whole thing so it sounds like more.
Hey, but that's not because because the song itself fucking there's more to it.
Yeah. But I lyrically I like that song because it's about communication with my ex-girlfriend.
Right.
But like for some reason I hate that song. Like my managers love that song.
Yeah.
And the guys that worked on it were like this has got to be on the EP, and I don't know why, but I just don't like. It's like the song that I wrote that I hate.
Yeah.
That I play at every show.
I had a couple chapters in there that I don't like.
It's just funny, and then you're like, you like it? That's cool.
So you got the first single out, but then now you're touring with these guys. So what's the effect on your own recording when you are spending a lot of time
with other bands?
People? Yeah.
That's honestly why I quit like a lot of the gigs that I've been doing.
Yeah.
And right now it's really just Goldroom and Nona, and then maybe a few things that I pick up, like a couple of friends.
Really like the Goldroom.
It's because Goldroom's like it's such an easy, fun-loving gig. Yeah. Like there's no stress. Like other bands sometimes.
Yeah, you think you're having fun.
Yeah, we only have fun, and like it's never music that has been like up my alley at all. Like it's just not my scene. But I love Josh, and he's a great producer, and he's like one of the best people ever to work for, and he's super supportive, and everyone's like it's always a good time. And it's never huge touring, too. So, like, we had, like, 6 festivals this summer.
Right.
And we probably won't do many shows this fall because he hurt his neck and he's trying to recover. Last year we did 1 tour and festivals. And so for me, it's like a fun side gig. That's a blast to go and do. And I get to, like, go to outside lands and play
and
hang out with friends. And I'm fucking here.
Right, yeah, I was going to say, it must be fun because you're, like, in some random apartment.
Yeah, dude, I mean, I'm getting paid to be here and have a great time. It's hard to not justify, like, when you get paid to have a great fucking time, to hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And,
so how did you sort of fall into the Goldroom?
Well, so when I started playing with Meg, within, like, 2 months, literally within, like, 6 months, I got that gig. I got the gig, because I started out with the Moth and the Flame as a hired gun. They called me, like, can you do this, like, 3-month tour in Europe? I was like, yeah, I want to go to Europe and get paid. And so started playing with them. Like a year and a half later, they asked me to join the band. That's when I stopped playing with Meg. But also that same month, Goldroom, the drummer in Goldroom is the drummer from my first band.
Okay.
So he was like, I know this bass player, he's great, we should get him. So I auditioned for Goldroom, and that was 3-4 years ago now.
You play keys on that?
Yeah, I play keys and bass and sing.
Not a slave.
Yeah, I do a bunch of shit.
Can you kind of explain, because I feel like a lot of people think, what's the life of kind of the hired gun?
It differs from, like, the biggest thing I've learned is every band is so different.
Right.
Like, every band functions different.
Personalities.
So, like, when you're auditioning for something or whatever, it's just being very open-minded. And, like, I've learned, I was lucky learning the hard way, but I learned the hard way, like, how to you just gotta be that guy that's cool with anything. Like, so many people, like, I think I've gotten a lot of gigs and done really well because I'm just pretty apathetic to a lot of things, honestly, where people will complain or be like, think that they deserve this or whatever, when, like, I'm just kind of happy to be there and happy to be playing music and getting paid and not causing problems. And even the shitty thing is about it is you get shit on a lot, and sometimes by a label, by managers, people doing shit where you're like, that's bullshit. But if you call them out, now they have a bad taste in their head about you, and you'll never get a gig with them again. So like,
what did he give you shit about? Just
like one act, I got hired to do a fall tour in like May, and I did all these rehearsals. No, not I didn't do any rehearsals, but I blocked off all of the fall for them, and like. They hadn't announced the dates. Then they announced all these dates, and I like every 2 weeks I'm emailing the manager, and they're like, he's like, yeah, I'll let you know when rehearsals start. And I was like, this is kind of weird though. Like shit's coming up, and then like they announced these dates in like 2 weeks from like the day I saw they announced it. I was like, dude, when are rehearsals starting? He's like, oh man, I'm so sorry, but like we're gonna go with this other guy. And it was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I just fucking blocked off my life.
Why didn't you just tell me? Like it was that and a couple other things that were just really fucked up about it.
Why do you think that is? Why can't? Because they're the first people who get in your face too.
They're just not being considerate. Is like a lot of that. But I wrote up a fucking mean email, very rightfully so, and then I deleted the whole email and just said like, it's all good, man. I wish you guys the best. Like,
I wish it would have went down differently.
No, that was it. Like, it's all good. I get it. Wish you guys the best. Right. Sent that email. A month later, I get a call from him, and he's like, "Dude, I just want to say sorry. You were so cool about that. Like, would you want to come and actually do some of these gigs? Because we actually need a guitar player now." And I got that gig. Right. And if I had given him the shit that I wanted to, I wouldn't have gotten that call. Right. So, like, you selfishly have to eat shit sometimes.
Right. But I think it's just, poor taste to ever fucking have to fact write an email. But also, too, I wouldn't blame you if you were like, actually, no, I don't want to do
But I know a lot of people who lose a lot of gigs because they write.
No, I know what I'm saying. Like, not write to me an email, but, like, you would have been like, actually, I don't want to go back out. I appreciate you reaching out again,
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely was much more stern with him. I was like, cool. Like, as soon as you send me official dates, like, I'll be interested. But until I get an email with exact dates and money and everything, I'm, like, keeping my options open. He's like, totally get it.
Is it, like, outside of, sort of, when the crowd's gone, is the treatment kind of get more, like, equal, I guess?
It depends.
It bothers, I would say, fucking bothers me, man. When one motherfucker, ain't loading out, and the 4 fucking hired guns, the guy can't even fucking pick up a,
Yeah.
It's just me. That's just me, This is exactly like...
That's a situational thing, too, like...
right, again.
Like Josh and Goldroom always is helping with shit. He doesn't make us do shit for him. With Meg, like, she hardly ever lifted gear, but it's because she's a small girl and a singer.
Right.
And we're like 4 dudes as our hired band.
Right. I'm thinking about the guy sitting on the rise with, like, 6 girls.
Yeah. No, that's bullshit. I mean, that's happened in bands where I've been in the band, and you're like, the lead singer's just, like, disappears, and you're like, what the fuck, dude? I'm not getting paid, like, more than you.
Right.
Bullshit. You can't just disappear.
How do they like kind of work out pay scales for stuff like that?
I mean, usually that also depends per thing, because like to me, I think usually you just pay the band all the same amount, and it should be that way. But I think then there's other bands where it's like seniority. It's like if I come into and it's funny. I've done gigs where like I joined this band for this short run because they need a bass player, and I tell them what my rate is, and like say he pays everyone in the band $100 a day, but I'm like I need $200 a day. That's what I get. And he's like, well, that'd be paying you more. And I was like, okay, like, I'm sorry, but I won't do the gig unless it's worth it to me.
Right.
And, like, if someone will do it for $100, you should do that. This is what I'm worth. And then they're like, all right, well, we need you, so cool. And then, like, it is kind of a weird thing, like, knowing you get paid more than the other guys, but it's, like, it's also, I never ask anybody what they're getting paid, and I don't really feel comfortable when people ask me, because it's, like, that's my relationship with the boss. And, like, I don't want this to be a power thing. Like,
right.
Like, you value yourself and ask for what you think you deserve and sort that out. But,
that's the lifeblood. It is nobody else's business.
And then I've done way cheaper
and it's up to the other people to actually have that same stand as you if they feel like it,
Yeah.
Like,
well,
because they're not doing.
Because to me, it's like, it's not that...
I like that because, you
well, I know what my time is worth to me.
Right, exactly.
So, like,
that's what matters.
Yeah, and it's not about, like, a power thing. It's just literally, I'll stay home. I like being at my house.
Yeah.
So if it's not worth it for me to leave my house, I'm not going to fucking do it.
Right.
So I've done shit.
You've been on the road enough, too, where it's like...
Yeah, I don't need to go to Ohio again for $100. Like, but I've done, like, a lot of shit with friends. Like I have friends bands where like if they're like, dude, can you do this run? I wouldn't even ask for money because I love them and I love their music.
Totally.
And, or it's like we can only pay you this much, and it's like, well, yeah, I fucking love you guys. I'll come out and do that, no problem. But when it's not that thing, it's like, why would I do that? Why am I gonna help you out? I don't know you.
So where do you kind of like? What's your sort of next step in this? You got the record, the Father's Day single coming out. What do you sort of? I guess what are the hopes and wishes of this? What's sort of realistic and what maybe the
that's a great question because like that's like the most frustrating thing right now is once you have shit going on, it's much easier to plan and project. And right now, it's kind of like, plan an EP release show. Like, see how it fucking does, though. Like, I've never really put anything out officially. So much is just, like, waiting to see what opportunities present themselves and being really flexible. So as of right now, I'm, like, planning on doing a lot of shows in October. Planning on doing a headlining show for an EP release, trying to open for a couple of friends' bands, and trying to write more music. Like, that's my plan, and just being completely open to hopefully some shit changing.
Right, this is kind of like, I'm out here.
Yeah, because like really, this is really my first like, hey, this is a thing now.
Right.
And then like seeing how that's received.
I mean, it's definitely, I mean, I'm 26, it's good.
Thank you.
It is. It was, I never know what's like when sometimes you know.
Yeah.
You're interviewing somebody, and then sometimes you don't. You're like, profound right there. Damn, I kind of wish I would have wrote that. What would be sort of your next, in your head, I guess, where would you like to sort of head to next? Not like career-wise, but like musically.
Yeah.
That's what's important. I always feel like your next release, you should feel is better than the last. Whether or not everyone else thinks it is beside the point. Like, I get that there's consequence to that, but you ultimately, at the end of the day, have to live with it and sleep with it. So,
well, Father's Day is the first single off this EP, and that's the most recent song I've written that's on the EP. Like, I wrote that right before we went in the studio, so like that I wrote that in like March.
So fresh.
Yeah, and that's why it's the most exciting one, and it's my favorite song I've ever recorded that I've done, and that's I'm really happy about it because that's a big, it bridges like things I used to write about with things I'm starting to write more about. Right. So I grew up writing, like literally I started writing songs literally only about my dad and about my girlfriend in high school. That was and then I remember thinking maybe I should write about more stuff than that, But you also are only ever writing from your experience. But I've gotten like way more into.
It makes sense when you're younger. I mean, those are like. The parental relationship and the love relationship are very, very important.
Emotionally.
Right. I mean, things are going to fuck you up the most or make you go create, like, happy emotions.
Yeah. But I'm starting to write a lot more music that's a lot more, I think, purposeful philosophically, I guess. Right. So I've been having fun with that. Like trying to challenge myself with just trying to be like as honest and open and like about like I don't know scary realities of existence and stuff like that. Because I don't know a ton of people that write that much about stuff like that, and like it's really like it's like that and kind of like love songs and blending the two together. Yeah. And like that the Father's Day song, I didn't even realize how much. To me, that's not about my dad as much as it is about like patriarchy and passing down religion and forcing religion and really tradition onto people, and that cycle of abuse.
That's profound.
So like to me, that's what the song's about. But my mom heard it and was like, "Oh my god! Like I didn't realize you had all these feelings about your dad." And I was like, "Oh, I guess it sounds that way. I didn't even realize that."
Right. Because you're the artist. You're not writing it in that vacuum of like this is literal.
Yeah.
To that or that.
Yeah.
It's like. This is sort of what I'm feeling and being out in the most organized way that I can, the chaos organized way as I can.
Because I'm trying to make this song bigger than just that one moment for me.
What do you, like, so sound-wise, is there something you want to, like move to? Like, I feel like there's a nice, there's definitely a nice arrangement of, there's diversity in there.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's now Telephone Summer. I was like one of the reasons why I like the record because it was like it pivots once didn't let you really get all that comfortable per se. Which I like. I don't want something that like by song 3, I'm so comfortable that I'm not listening to the music anymore.
Yeah, because it all sounds
right. It doesn't. There's no profound. Not profound. There's no action.
Yeah.
Or, and it's not like this jarring thing. It's just like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, that guitar's tone way awesome now, or differently,
I mean, I never want to have a record that all sounds the same at all, because like, I think it's really important to brand yourself like early on as like doing many different things, because like in the record, like when the record comes out, like there will definitely be like really a couple of big departures on there. And I think that's really important, because if I don't have that on the first record, then you'll be really like, what the fuck is this if it's on the second record?
Right.
So like, it's so hard not to pigeonhole yourself sometimes on like your first releases.
Right. Well, because that's how
it's like now, like, oh, this is what you sound like.
Right.
And so it's finding that one thing that is your sound.
That's what I've always like.
But isn't like pigeonholing at the same time.
So I've always envied musicians or bands because, and the whole artistic sort of medium, and I'm like, it's a book is like you have to buy the physical copy or the kit, whatever, and then you got to sit there and fucking take it. But at the same time, as a writer, novelist, it's like I can't get pigeonholed nearly as fast or quick. All it takes is for some, bullshit like, the new whatever, and then all of a sudden, wow, the worst thing I think you could ever call is get compared to fucking somebody, like, in that way.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
this is that, and it's like, and to me, it's like when people do that, it's lazy.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do that? Like, if I like it, to me, because I read like a lot about music, because I like the last thing I'm ever gonna fucking do is fucking like say that this is gonna do that, or.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's hard not to, because like.
Well, no, I don't mean like maybe like there's semblances of this.
Yeah, because
I'm not telling you like
sounds like it's influenced.
I'm not saying this is. You know what I'm saying? This way, like I'm just like that gave me that feeling, but like that's not going to be like this is that or whatever.
It's funny that there's some references that like I have a track that I put out last year called Honey Money, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, it sounds like Mac DeMarco," and I was like, "Motherfucker!" Like,
well, there's a guitar tone in there that I can see where they would say it, but
because Mac DeMarco's now coined like the chorus lead guitar thing.
Well, right, and that, to me, so right when I heard that, but I didn't think that. But I just but that's somebody who's too lazy to, I think, fucking. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, or they're having a bad day.
Yeah,
like, but the fact that they would say. I was like, I heard, but like, dude, he doesn't have a fucking like people can tune and shit, whatever. Like, fucking, dude, he is not the fucking person who came up with that.
Yeah,
and so, but that's it's again, I mean, fucking, I listen to Rolling Stones, and all they fucking hear are black dudes in the South. So, or in some of the Beatles stuff, and I'm like, like, I mean, are you kidding me? Like, these weren't the first psychedelic band.
Yeah.
Like,
who are they listening to? Yeah.
Right. I mean, dude, the Velvet Underground were fucking much more profound and a way earlier fucking thing. And I'm not saying I would ever say that it would sound like that, but you know what? I'll go down. I got in a fight at a radio station once. I was doing that Exit Here interview, and I had wrote a comment there where it was like, Tom, to me, like, Tom Petty, if you want to put his career against Dylan, if you want to just fucking talk about fucking what the record industry is, Tom Petty is the better, more successful one. Is he better? Probably not. But if you're talking in industry terms, Steve flipped out, and then I was like, well, and then I was like,
he's better than who?
Dylan. Meaning that if we're talking the scope of the record industry, all Tom Petty does is write fucking hits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he has so many hits.
Right. We were talking about we were talking about the scope of the record industry, and I didn't say that he was a better songwriter than Dylan. I just said that.
And the timing, there was more money to be made around Tom Petty's time.
Right, and I was like, I told him, I was like, people like to forget about that, like sort of neo-Christian Dylan stage, and those records weren't all that great. But also too, like, like it's during that same interview, I was like, to Velvet Underground were singing much more profound, fucking like realistic, dirty, gritty, hardcore, anti-authority, or at least sort of, and they had compassion for the other in those songs too, than any of those bands before. I didn't say that had been the Beatles, but I was like, like they were poor.
Context is pretty important with those things.
But
like
people don't fucking, right? That guy. We were talking about the record industry, and when I said that, I was like, dude, you were talking about the scope of the record industry. The scope of the record industry is to fucking make money.
Yeah, we're not talking about opinions
right.
necessarily. We're talking about numbers.
Right, or talent. We're talking about literally the record industry, which is an industry that is only geared towards making money and stars.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, like, right, so are these kind of just the main two, then?
The main two, what do you mean?
Just Goldroom, then here.
Yeah, this and my friend's band Bloodweiser. I'll be playing guitar with him. It's a great name. But it's just there's some friends that live in LA where it's yeah, if I'm free, I'll play guitar in your band. It's fun. I like to play music with people because it makes me a better musician. It makes me think about songs differently when I have to learn other people's parts.
Yeah.
Literally, the best thing about playing with Meg wasn't necessarily that It was that I was forced to learn all these lead guitar parts and be a lead guitar player.
And you became a better guitar player.
And it forced me to be a better guitar player. And now,
so
it helps me, write guitar parts on my shit. And so, anything that makes you grow. And every time you play with somebody else, you get something different out of it, I guess it's it's not the same as, having sex, but, you're going to have sex differently with every single person you have sex with. And you'll gain something, probably, from it.
Is there... Do you think you were ready? We can wrap this up. Do you think you were ready to? Do you like this interview? I think it's been a good conversation.
Yeah, I've had fun.
Do you think you were ready to maybe put out a solo record? So you didn't maybe do that first instead of the other thing?
I wasn't a good enough songwriter earlier on.
Why not? Why do you think that?
I look back on the songs that I was writing, and I was like, yeah. I'm sure I'll look back on this EP in a couple years and be like,
oh yeah, dude.
But with the songwriting,
but it's also very situational too.
Yeah,
because I can understand why 22, because it's and that's why 22-year-olds like it, you know what I'm saying?
Well, did you see that? Are you talking about my song 22?
No, I'm just saying
I put out a song called 22.
Oh yeah.
When I turned 22, and that was actually the first Nona release, but I didn't. There's no press. I just put it on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
It's not on Spotify or anything. And I have friends who are like, "Why don't you play that song anymore?" I'm like, "Dude, I was 22 and I'm 26 now.
Right.
It has no meaning to me anymore."
Right.
But I just.
What was your hang up on 22?
That was right after I just quit Chasing Kings. I just moved back in with my parents for the first time since high school, and I was going to community college for a little bit. And I was fucking hating my life, and I wrote this song the day before my birthday.
How did that all how did that sort of come into fruition, where that series of events?
I quit Chasing Kings after a 3-month-long tour, and I had let go of my lease before we did this tour.
Yeah.
And I quit right when we got back from that tour, because that's a whole other fucking journey, that whole tour.
Right.
But I quit the band more just I've been in this band for 7 years now. And I need to since I was 15, I was like, I need to spend some time without this being the only main thing in my life for a little bit and see what life is about. But I had no money left or anything.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, you can move back in at home, but if you do, you gotta go to school. So I was going to school and I was fucking hating my life. And then
What were you studying?
Just gen ed stuff at Santa Monica Community College.
That's awesome.
And it was the day before my 22nd birthday, and I just picked up the guitar and wrote a song on turning 22 tomorrow, and just kind of about being so fucking lost.
Yeah.
And kind of that. There's a lot of shit that I've learned, but I have no idea what I'm doing.
Right. Well, because there's no fucking. That's the thing, and that's what that's why I feel artists get a bad rap, because you know what? There's no job interviews. There can be, but it's you go out and you got to do it. There's no, I don't want to be a fucking LD. No offense against LDs, but I want to be an artist, so I want to fucking put this stuff, and it's so, you know, people are always like, oh, you're like, so I was like, dude, I'm more confident than all of you motherfuckers. I'm putting my fucking life out there. And you can't even tell your wife the truth about fucking playing fantasy baseball or whatever. Like, so fuck you.
Yeah. No,
like, everyone, like, fucking is getting a part of a fucking piece of me. Like, there's a toll that's taken, especially, you know, and it's like, and so don't disparage it, but then again, you get treated like shit.
Yeah.
Or not get treated like shit, they're like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Why don't you get a real job?
Yeah, don't respect what you're doing.
Real job, like, you mean, like, fucking making girls cum in their pants from the words? Like,
people don't respect how difficult it is to do it sometimes. Like,
right, because they're also, too, it's like, oh, let's get us more of that, like, fucking, you know, like, I don't want to rock and roll and have a party every day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, dude, I mean...
Dude, but, like, that's still not a good lyric.
Like, I've written a lot of really depressing shit, and I have a lot of family that's like, why don't you write fun music? It's like, why don't you go fuck yourself? This is what I do. I don't, you know, why don't you fly planes instead of drive a ship? I don't know, like, this is what I do. And this is I'm not gonna. That's faking art. That's not art anymore. I'm a mechanic. I'm not a mechanic. I'm an artist. So I do what I do, and that's all I can do. Otherwise, I'm faking it.
I haven't killed myself. Dead.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm in jail.
But so the reason I started Nona though, like a year and a half ago, I was hanging out with my friend in Seattle. I'd never done mushrooms. Maybe it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago this September.
So you're 24-year-old mushroom virgin.
Yeah. Like, I smoked a lot of weed, but I just never got into, like, psychedelics or anything until a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I was playing Bumbershoot, the music festival in Seattle, and I had a couple days off before, and I just ate a bunch of mushrooms with my friend, and had an amazing time, but I was just, like, fell in love with mushrooms because of, like, how much of the inward journey I really do and how much shit I realize about myself. And I realized, I just came to this thing of, like, I just kept, like, trying to be like, dude, but what do you want? What do you want to do? Like, what do you want, really? I was like, well, I want to do Nona. That's the main thing I want to do. And it was like, well, why aren't you doing it? It's like, because I'm really scared to do it. And I figured, like, that's a bullshit excuse to not do the main thing I want to do.
Right.
Like, because I'm scared. So fuck that. So I, from then on, tried to make, like, no decisions based off of fear and just do it. And so then I came back from that tour, and that's when I quit them off in the flame and went back to being a hired gun for them. And started writing, like, these songs.
Oh, I just wrote something like that today where I was like, 2 years ago I walked away from $150,000 because I didn't want to get smashed into some contract, and I was very nervous about this book, and then what happened was I didn't really know how to put that last book out. I didn't know what to do, and then I had like this weird sort of creative paralysis, and I spent a year fucking like literally staring into the abyss, not flinching, persevering, and getting through it, and all of a sudden I signed, you know, a 4-book distribution deal with total creative control, set my own thing up, and like it's so fucking gratifying. You know, people never get that. It's just like, you know, like just that year, and my girlfriend at the time, you know, was like, you know, like, why did we supposed to do that? Because I didn't want to fucking be in a 3-book deal, and I wasn't comfortable fucking with like having this. I was like, I never got to fucking really have 2 years or 3 years to write something else, and I know I'm gonna have to, you know, write stuff, but like a bigger book, and it was just like, and it was like, now I fucking know. I was like, you know what, art and comfort and security have never blended together.
Yeah,
they are, and if you are afraid to be uncomfortable, if you are afraid to fucking lose shit, if you are afraid to fucking like put your shit on the fucking line, then you're never gonna fucking get to the place you want to go as an artist. You're never. And I felt like coming out of that, dude, I've had the best 4 fucking months of my life. Like, not of my life, but probably since like the last 10 years since it all started getting going.
Yeah.
And it was because I fucking like, I had people, dang, work at my advertising for the writer, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, no, man. Like, and it wasn't like,
I mean, I have my mom just like trying to convince me to like open up a flower shop because that's the family business on my dad's side. It's like, I'm just do it. It'd be an easy in. It's like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Also, see, this is what I would tell my mom.
What kind of life is that?
Well, I was going to tell my mom, I was like, what has been the last fucking 10 years for? if I do this now, like, I walked away from $150,000. If I do this now, like, fucking, what was the last 10 years for? That's a big betrayal of everything that I've fucking done. And, like, it's like, fucking, you know, like, I'm dying, I'm on the street, you know? But, like, again, I'm like, that, to me, I was just like, that was, like, coming out of it. And, like, you know, there's people that I see who are part of that whole, like, time period when I'm like, no, I'm not, like, you know, fuck you, but I'm like, you will never fucking have that in you. You'll never, because you need to fucking have that fridge super full. You need to have those tickets to that thing. And I'm like, I don't.
I was having this conversation, but by the way, my friend's band, Sega, incredible band.
What is it, Sega?
SEGO, yeah, really fucking great. But I always have great conversations with Spence, the lead singer.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about, like...
You can help yourself.
Oh, thanks. But we were just talking about, like... Every now and then we always have these conversations about, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Things.
Right, well, I mean,
it's good to re-examine, but like...
No, but I was going to say, like, I mean, Hemingway fucking was, like, having those same conversations at 60.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Artists are always going to fucking be very sort of self-doubt and critical just because fucking we are, I mean, like, no artist actually wants to get to that point where fucking, like, they're only known for this shit. They want to fucking be better and better and better. You know?
You never want to stop creating something that's cool.
Right, and you never, right. So it's like you always have, like, you know, that doubt.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to be able to keep doing that? Like, but anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, because he was saying, like, he's had a really interesting realization, kind of, like, he's been able to live, like, knowing how basically frugal he can live and be comfortable with that, like, knowing his limitations on that is, like, freeing in a way. And, like, just kind of, like, the whole money thing in society, it's all about, like, it's really the money, maybe just turn it into comfort. And whether that's comfort is, like, nicer bed or it's status. But it's also, like, eating better food. Right. It's wearing nicer clothes. It's all different levels of comfort.
But it's because I eat healthy.
But it's different for everybody.
Right.
The comfort comes in different forms. Like, to me, the comfort would come from, like, drinking really good wine that I like, and having nice guitar, like getting more equipment.
Right,
That's where my comfort would come from.
Right,
Someone else would be like in a BMW and air conditioning.
Right, exactly.
So like it's different for everybody.
But that's the thing. I value my time. Like, so the other day, I had to wake up at 8:30. I went out like the street, and I probably purposely worked up. So like I was very aware of just the surroundings, and I looked at people, and I was like, animosity towards them. And I was like, you're going. Your 20s in San Francisco are spent doing this. You might like your job, that's fine. Spent in this confine of that. And what? So you got some nice shit. I'm at the same bar as you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm actually backstage at the show. You know, like not that, you know, but it's just like.
That's also the thing, though, of like, that might be what some people want.
Oh, I'm not, right, I'm not, like, it's not my degree. I'm saying, like, I'm talking just in artist terms.
Yeah.
It's.
I just have that same approach to, like.
I can't, so, that's the thing. I mean, it's very interesting to. I just know too many talented people who either didn't have the right kind of humility, or, to sort of accept that, like, fucking, I mean, dude, probably in the next year I'll probably have one of my best book years. I'll probably make 50 to 100 grand. You know what I'm saying? Like, that humility to fucking be like, I was depressed last year because I couldn't write. You know, like, that's what it was. It wasn't because, like, some sort of lifestyle thing. I was like, if I don't have writing, I'm nothing. And it was bothering me because I felt like, I was questioning, like, was it the best decision? And then I was like, didn't really know what I was doing. And it basically I had walked away from that because I wanted this sort of freedom, kind of begin my own thing, and maybe I can always, I'm still an agent and stuff like that. Yeah. And all of a sudden, like, bam, I have total creative freedom. I have worldwide distribution now. I have people who fucking back me. People who are like, dude, like we're printing another 1,000 copies of that because we think that the first 1,000 is gonna sell out in a week.
Yeah,
I was like 30 days. Yeah, it's just basically me walking around being angry. Because I pictured myself trying to find cocaine and screaming at people. She was like, nothing happens, and she's like, you're just like wasting money on cabs and you call too many people whores and cunts. But she was like, I've never actually seen somebody really have that level of sort of honesty and humility, like about whatever, because it was part of the series, and I like, long story short, like say when I started Exterior Media, I want to put out the short story about this dude James Morgan, when I was like, sort of like who I wanted to be as a writer when I was 21. And Simon Schuster writes, and so like you can't put that out. And the whole story was like following through San Francisco one night, like as he's like trying to get with this chick or whatever. So they put that out, which was great. It was another release for me. So I wrote that in response to it, which was like, me going around San Francisco night, me running into my ex-girlfriends and all this stuff. And then I was like, that felt really good. And I was like, oh, it'd be interesting to explore those years of how, like, it just, like, the art scene here disappeared, and then there was this big rise of, like, for myself, professionally, and anyway,
yeah.
So, yeah.
No, it's stoked to read it.
Yeah, dude. Let me know what you think. There's titles and shit, so just to prove. So fucking. Tell me. What's the best part about San Francisco so far? We got like 2 minutes.
So far on this trip, I don't know, man. It's. Yesterday, I spent a lot of time hanging out with my high school ex-girlfriend and a couple of her friends, which was fun. I haven't actually hung out with her in a while.
She happy for you?
Yeah, she's doing great, and like it's cool to still be like friends, with like people like that from high school.
Yeah.
So that's always nice. Like I have a couple friends who it's always like really comforting. It's got like this feeling of home.
Right.
So probably that so far. I don't know, dude. The air is just so nice in San Francisco. It's the city with the nicest air. It's the biggest city with the cleanest air. Because that wind always
fresh.
Yeah,
we're right by the ocean.
Even when like yesterday when I walked out of the apartment I'm staying at, it was like 70. The sun was out, and it was fucking air was crisp, and there was a breeze. It's like, dude, my favorite part about San Francisco is that kind of weather. It's crazy.
Jacket or t-shirt.
And it's like Coachella. It's like 110 degrees, all day. It was like I like being able to wear a sweater like during the day at a festival.
Right.
That's nice.
It is nice. It's very comforting.
Yeah.
And then you are playing tomorrow at what stage?
Panhandle stage.
Stage at 7.
Yeah.
And then
back to LA, and then playing Echo Park Rising with Nona next weekend.